Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a real life medium? Then this is the podcast for you. In this show, you'll learn how to open your heart to spirit, hear adventures I've experienced as an award-winning psychic medium and teacher. Plus, I'm going to give you some psychic information and insight into what the future holds for our increasingly crazy world. Tune in every Friday and get ready to connect to the other side. I'm Jen, and I'll be your guide starting right now. Welcome back to the Spirit Mentor Podcast. It has been a hot minute since I have recorded an episode. And to be honest, I have wanted to do this for a long time, get back on the podcast wagon, the horse, whatever you call it. There just hasn't been time because I'm busy girl. And I feel like I'm about to get busier, which is very exciting and so grateful for the entire journey. So I want to get a couple little mini episodes in here. I also have 2 guests waiting in the wings from like 6 months ago that I have not even produced or, prepared edited their podcast episode for you guys. But it's been nagging at me to let's get back in here. And I missed you. I missed you a lot. A lot has been happening. The reason for the kind of urgency or the spirit-led decisions to hop on here and record an episode before my class in about 30 minutes is I want to share some things that I feel are really, really important. As always, I always share things that are important with you, whether some people agree with them or not. I think it's important, and I feel very strong that it is important. One of my purposes for being here is to tell the truth. And as you guys know, if you're following me on Instagram, that is the best way to sort of locate me and follow along on this crazy ride. It is like it's the easiest way to find me and know what's going on. I have recently made a decision like this. It was very God-led. It was very like time to retire from the predictions because, many reasons I won't get into. And there's a reel that I did. You can go watch that about why I'm retiring. And what I did was open a subscription to people who appreciate my work and who weren't yelling at me all the time and attacking me and sending psychic attacks my way. So I've diminished that a little bit. And as you can see, or if you're not watching, if you're just listening, I am wearing my brand new Faraday beanie cap, which I love. I will put the link in the description of how you can get one. I'm not affiliated with this company, but these are what I'm about to share with you leading into this mini episode is to share with you all of the things and tools that will assist you in your journey here, not just as a spiritual being, but also as a human. Because I think sometimes I feel very strongly that a lot of the times we can get caught up in the hype about being starseeds and we're here to change the world and save everybody. And that's just not the case. We kind of have forgotten that we actually are humans, which is what our spirit is attached to. And I think that's a real problem that is, I'm noticing anyways, I'm the observer of this issue that I'm noticing that we've forgotten how to be human. And I don't mean that we're not kind or compassionate. I don't mean that by any means. I mean like we're obsessed with evolving and quantum entanglement and astral traveling and spiritual wars and archons and who's running the world. And, I think it's really important now more than ever to actually be human. And I don't see a lot of creators or psychics, whatever you want to call us, on social media speaking about this. It's all about the spiritual war, which I have spoken about that as well too. But I feel even stronger now more than ever to step away from that for a few moments, take a break, take a pause, take a gap, take a lap, and remind us that we're human. And how can we shield ourselves or keep that humanness about us so that we're not dissociating, for we're not having soul loss, so we're not, in another realm all the time. We've got to be here. That's what we're here to do. And it can be really tricky to navigate that. Being in the human world is not easy right now. And there's a lot of people on Instagram who will tell you that, this is your mission and this is what you came for, which is great, right? If we weren't supposed to be here, right now we wouldn't be. But I'm more concerned about those around us, or even if you're listening, if you're noticing that you're having a harder time than just managing your energy, if you're having a hard time managing thoughts and you are becoming more aware of the plethora, the overabundance of chaotic thoughts. So I'm a big fan of this, and I teach this in every class that I do, is discernment. And so you hear that a lot in the spiritual community. I'm a big talker about that, big share about the importance of discernment. It's one of the first things I tell my students, whether they're in school or they're in my mentorship program, it doesn't matter. That's one of the first things that we need to tackle. And the only way we can tackle that is, and I'm going to talk about how I teach discernment, because I think it might help you. And then we'll get into the beanie and the Faraday cages and things like that are going to help you. But one of the ways that you can try this as well too is I will say to my student, because they're having trouble, is this psychic information or is this my thought? Is this my imagination? Am I making this up? Or this is actually spirit communicating with me? Okay. This is the biggest thing. Trust is secondary. This is how you build the trust as you build discernment. And so one of the ways I help them build discernment and build their nervous system resonance, where it's a yes or a no, whether that's arm hair standing up or, your head starts getting itchy, or you just have a gut punch and you just know that is right, is I give them kind of like a game, like 2 truths and a lie. Okay. So I'll say, they'll be like, okay, was that a grandma or a grandpa? Or was that my grandpa or your grandpa in the spirit world? I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you some things that are not true so that you know which one is true. Okay. So this will be when a student is training in mediumship and they come across the grandma train or the grandpa train, which basically is when you're studying to be a medium, is that you have to be able to understand, is it grandpa on the mom's side or grandpa on the dad's side? And because they always talk together, they talk at the same time when you're first training. And so you're like, I don't understand who I'm talking to. And the client they're practicing with or you're practicing with will say, oh, that could be both. That could be both grandpas, right? So you want to separate them so you know who you're talking to, discernment. So I'll say, okay, so the grandpa is standing to your right. And they'll go, yes, that is true. And I'll say, Cookie Monster is standing to your left. And they go, no. And I'll say, Niagara Falls is falling on your head. And they go, what are you doing? Because what we're doing is we're saying the things that are not true so that you can learn what is true. Does that make sense? So maybe Jenism, but you have to be shown or feel in your body physically that is true or that does not feel true by saying things that aren't true. So you build the truth. Okay. So it's really important that you have discernment. So get someone to practice with and be like, okay, someone says to you, the world is ending. And then you start panicking and start going like this with your brain going crazy, which is what's happening, right? You're becoming aware of your brain going crazy. So that's good. That's discernment. Your brain's going crazy. So get someone to say, the earth is going to end tomorrow. No, that doesn't feel right. The earth is going to end in 2050. Well, who knows, right? So just start with something small, like what kind of ice cream should I have? But that's one of the ways that you can test your discernment. And it might be a little bit confusing because when I explain something to my students and to you guys, the only way you really understand that is to practice it and live it and embody it. When I mean embodiment, I mean you're it's embedded in your system. You're like, oh, now I know what it feels like. Whether Jen just yaks at you, like I Want to Wake Wednesday, on Wednesday, my free classes, and that Jen's just yakking at you. But until you practice it and then it lands in your body, you're like, oh, now I get it. Because now I can feel it. Now I know what is a yes, what is a no, what's a grandpa, what's a grandma, all these good things. So it's really important. That is part of the training of your mind, right? So if your mind is always racing, how are you going to understand what is yours and what is someone else's thought, right? So without getting too crazy here, going back to the human state, the human realm, we have to become aware of our thoughts, and so that what is your thought, what is God talking to you, what does it feel like in my body, in my brain, when a really positive, loving thought comes in or when a really negative thought comes in? So there's that contrast in the discernment. Then you have, people keep saying, well, the angels are inverted and there's no Archangel Michael. Your guides are being taken over by demons. Well, yeah, that's probably true. Well, how are you going to know that if you don't know what it sounds like when a pure source is talking to you or communicating with you through your head, right? So the thing that confuses people the most is that it sounds, when you're doing spiritual training, it's like you don't know which voice is which. And so we have to learn which voice is which. And on top of that, going back again to the human thing, now we're waking up and I'm sharing a lot. One of the reasons why I'm wearing this Faraday beanie is because I noticed actually nerve-wracking, like I literally had the thought that I might be going crazy. I've had in the past where I've had, psychosis from that horrible mushroom trip. That's an episode on the Spirit Mentor podcast, The Bad Mushroom Trip. Go listen to that. I've had dissociated. I've had thoughts implanted in my head to be like, you should, the leader of this mushroom ceremony, like it's the whole story's in there. So now I know, because that horrible thing happened to me, I know the difference between what is someone else's thought that like a negative entity would be pouring into my head versus my own. And a lot of that is attributed to experience and meditation for 10 years. Okay. So what we want to do is like be very aware of our thoughts at all times. Okay. Basically, any fear thought is not your spirit. It's not soul. Okay. We are the observer of our thoughts. So if there's any fear involved in our thought processes and they're like kind of like this coming at you real, or you have songs stuck in your head, or your ear starts ringing for no reason, this is what's happening. Is my feeling is very strong that it's no longer spiritual. It's no longer angels talking to you. It's no longer, your ears ringing. You're like, oh, I used to call that star speak. I'm like, oh, your ear chakra is opening and the angels are starting to talk to you. Yes, it's can be that, but if you don't have that happen to you 10 years ago, how are you going to know what this tinnitus is now? And then you go to the doctor because you can't tell the difference between physical tinnitus or a weaponized machine that the government has that's pointing at your head when you're sleeping. This is a legit thing. I always say, as a psychic, the crazier shit that I say, the more likely it is to be true. And that has evolved over the years in my career because I'm telling you, there is a patent for this machine. It's called Voice to Skull. Go Google it. Okay. I'm not doing your dirty work for you. You can do this if you want to know about it. So that's what I was realizing. Like, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, I'm going fucking crazy. And I could not stop the thoughts. The thoughts were horrific. They were like thousands of voices at the same time. I'd lie down, go to bed, and there'd be conversations above my head. You should end your life and your husband does it. Like all these horrible, horrible thoughts. And I knew underneath all of the negativity and like this, like knives in my head, I knew in my soul that these were not my voices. Okay. Because I have discernment. I have that training. So then I got the idea. So then the cool thing is people always say, okay, Jen, we know these horrible things are happening. How do we protect ourselves? Okay. And if you are doing any of this work spiritually or otherwise, it is so important. And you guys know that I will always admit that I am struggling. I have struggled since day one with protecting my energy. I have a whole team who has to clear me all the time. So I can't give you any clearing advice energetically, spiritually, and how to get entities off you. I can't do that because I have people who do that for me. But I can help you with the ideas that I got to help calm your mind and turn the thoughts off, and how we can be a shield against these machines. Okay. So you have to get so bleeping strong with your mindset. Like, you cannot have any negative thoughts. You have to grab those thoughts and just turn them around. I know it's hard, but that's part of the training to protect yourself from this, because you might hear in your head, like, we've had people in our family who maybe have made decisions to no longer be on this earth. And maybe it was thoughts in their head, and obviously it was other things, but what if they had a thought? Because a thought can say, hey, you should not be here anymore. I've had that thought from day one. I was driving home in 2016 from a metaphysical store, driving my car home from Georgetown to Shelburne, and a voice in my head said, and it wasn't a very nice voice, you should turn your car into oncoming traffic. It said it twice to me. And I was like, and even back then, with little to no discernment, I'm getting my arm hair standing up. Like, I knew it wasn't my voice, because the voice that is talking to you, I call it nana nana boo boo. Okay. So I'm a kindergarten teacher, retired. So I'll say it kind of sounds like nana nana boo boo. Like, it has that tone to it. I like to put things in kindergarten terms. Okay. Because that's who I am. That's my energy. And so even back then, it was like started from day one, right? So I've had a lot of time to process and put in compartments what each voice means. What is my true spirit guide? What is God talking to me? And I would describe these as higher frequency feelings. They feel like love. They feel like God. So these negative entities can't mimic God. Whatever you believe in, there's a God, okay? Being a medium is talking to God. Being a psychic is talking to God. I don't care what anyone says. That's my experience, and that's what I go from. And it's really important that you connect with God a lot. Like, I'm connected to God. I choose God. I am with God. God is protecting me. All these things, okay? And staying with the light is really important as well, too. So here comes the human suggestions, okay? So here are the things that I intuitively did that came from the higher realms, from spirit, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, the high intelligence. That's what I call it. I was driving. I had to drive about 4 hours one day, maybe a little bit over 4 hours from one city to another to visit a dear friend of mine. And that was the day that things were going crazy. Like I was talking to Chad while I was in the car, and he was in the driveway being like, I'm worried about you. And he was like really upset. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I think I'm going crazy. You should maybe, I don't know, give me medication. I don't fucking know. I'm going crazy. But I knew they weren't my thoughts. So they were winning. The negative thoughts and the do thoughts and the machine was winning. The government was winning. I'm getting hot just talking about it. And so I'm driving and I'm like, okay, guys, I need an idea. Give me an idea to help me turn these thoughts off. What is a defense mechanism, a defense system that I can use to prevent this from getting into my brain? Because we want to protect our crown and we want to protect our head, because that's where all the thoughts are. Obviously, they're in here. And so we want to protect that beautiful, important space where our brain is and our thoughts and our everything is in. So we need something to cover it, okay? And to clear it out. And so I was driving and I heard in my head, as clear as anything, because I'm clairaudient, I heard in my head, play Gregorian chants. I was like, huh? But in my head, I knew immediately, took out my phone, Google Gregorian chants on Apple Music, whatever you want to use. So first one that came up, I was like, okay, let's try it. I'll try anything. And then about 15 minutes in, maybe a little bit longer, instant peace. Now, I do believe that the frequency of Gregorian chants is quite high. And I think it's 432. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that is like peacefulness and calmness and ground. Like, I don't know what it means, but I just knew. I didn't ask. I didn't go, okay, what hertz is it? I didn't care. I'm like, okay, Gregorian chants. Let's try. I'll try anything. Instant calm. The thoughts stopped. Immediately they stopped. I was like, I almost started crying. I'm gonna cry. And I was so fucking relieved that they stopped. And I had my arm hair standing up, so I knew, right? So I just played that sucker for an hour and a half driving. I wasn't meditating, I was driving. So don't meditate, drive at the same time. You don't need to meditate, you just play it in the car, in your house, in your bedroom, wherever you're feeling crazy. So I adopted that, and I've shared that on Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram. Watch all my videos about how to help. Okay. And then the second intuitive hit that I got, or psychic information impression from spirit, was to get a Faraday hat. So I went on Etsy. I love Etsy so much. Handmade, right? So I went on Etsy. I bought so many things on Etsy. So I went, and the first thing I just Googled Faraday toque, went through them all, intuitively found one. I ordered sage green. The guy's like, we only have pink. I'm like, pink's fine. I like pink. Came in the mail, put it on. Wow. I mean, they could be placebos. I don't give a shit. I do not care, because this works instantly. Like, I would say this took a little bit, like right now, if I stop talking to you guys, like I hear one thing in my head and it just said star. It didn't say anything bad. I actually wore this to bed last night and it was pretty good. But also, the third thing humanly you can do to protect yourself against EMF, EMP, against skull to voice or voice to skull technology that they're microwaving us with and sending like a little fucking electron gun toward our head at nighttime, trying to make us off ourselves and go crazy. That's what they want. That's what they want us to go crazy. Is I bought Faraday cages. So Faraday cages have been around for a long time, but they basically block the emission of these radiation from your phone, because all of these machinery that's coming through technology, 5G, 6G, you got to protect yourself from these EMF things for your phone. Haven't got that yet. That's next. Copper. That was the fourth thing that downloaded to me, is to get a copper ring and wear copper as much as possible. As soon as I put this on, it didn't stop the thoughts, but it instantly made me feel calm, and I felt safe. So maybe this is a placebo. I don't care. I know there are a lot of benefits to copper. The important thing is these were all intuitive. Like when I say it's spirit led, I live my life from a spirit led place, which means what my soul guides me to do. They'll never get our souls, guys. They can't get our souls unless we let them. It's here in the head. Okay, so those 4 things. And if anything else comes through to help protect ourselves, if you have any ideas, email me, let me know. Jen, I tried this and this worked really well. Okay, tinfoil. I don't care. Basically, this is a tinfoil hat I'm wearing here. Okay, this is polyester, but this is fucking, okay? Tinfoil hat, don't care. It works. And it looks kind of cute, right? It's stylish. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys with this mini episode. I am intending to get more episodes out here because I know you guys really enjoy the Spirit Mentor podcast, and so do I. And I'm super excited for what's to come here. And keep your thoughts positive. Be aware of your thoughts. Go buy a copper ring. Go get a Faraday hat, Faraday cages. Don't put your phone by your bed. Go charge it downstairs. Go put it in a Faraday cage. Charge it from the Faraday cage. I don't care. But if you just put it downstairs. Do not, unless you have health issues and you need your phone in your room. Okay. Don't put it by your bed. It will be a game changer, and you will stop having nightmares, and you will stop having a barrage of negative thoughts. Guaranteed. Okay. See you guys on the flip side.